Hi, everyone. I'm Lois Mills, otherwise known as the Lo or I, and today I want to talk to you about giving up. That it is okay to give up. You know, this subject has been on my mind as I've been thinking about a friend I used to have. There was a mutual friend, and she brought her up, and I started thinking about her. And I remember, how fond I was of her, and I know how fond she was of me. And it just became a difficult situation. Let me tell you why. She rendered herself incapable. And because she was so accustomed to having people take care of things for her and tell her what to do. I mean, I remember her having this horrible, not only rash on her leg, but where it actually, it was so bad that it was bleeding. And she went to the dermatologist, and the dermatologist said, this is dry skin. Don't you exfoliate? And she said, no one ever told me that I needed to exfoliate. And when she told me this story, I was like in disbelief. I said, for God's sake, you've never figured out that what these loofah things are, and all the stuff in the stores and ads in magazines. And I know you don't, I know you don't fancy yourself somebody that reads frivolous magazines or articles on beauty. But my God, there are, every page, for every story in a magazine, there's 15 pages of ads for products. And she said, well, no one ever told me. I said, well, did anyone ever tell you had to exfoliate your face? She said, no. I said, for God's sake, she was in her 70s now. This was a very brilliant woman. She entered Berkeley at the age of 15. It wasn't for lack of intelligence, but we used to knit, and she needed help with a stitch. And she said, oh, I'm going to drive to, a major, whatever it was, way, a good 10 mile each, 20 miles round trip to do this. Plus, it was a Sunday and they wouldn't open until Tuesday. And I said to her, why don't you just go on your computer? She was a realtor, so she was somewhat computer savvy. Go on your computer, go to YouTube, put in what stitch you want to see how it's done, and you can see, because she was so insistent. She had to have somebody show her. I said, this is the perfect way to do it, because on YouTube, everything is right there. You could see their hands. Often they do it in slow motion, or you can stop it and try to, and there's so many different people doing the same thing that if one person doesn't communicate well to you, you can find another. Wouldn't do it. And so it reached the point where, going to dinner was so difficult, because she would just sit in my car, not look out the window to even see if there, I'd say, look for a parking space. Well, where are we going? I said, of course you know where we're going. You've lived here for 60 years. So all of this that I'm trying to say, I used to say to her, please don't make me take care of you. I've just finished taking care of everyone that I have ever loved. They're all gone now, and now it's my time to take care of myself. And she simply, wouldn't do it. And so I said, I'm really sorry. I cannot continue this. She was just too high maintenance. So I gave her up. I mean, I wish there was a part of her that I could have kept, but it came at such a high price, it was better for me to give her up. So this is why I wanted to talk to you about this today, because maybe you are experiencing difficulty in giving up a relationship or things or project or even a book you're reading. If I suspect that you were raised to finish what you started. So, I can only encourage you to try to find a way to assess the good versus the bad. Now, in relationships, relationships aren't always good 100% of the time. But if a relationship that was good is now bad and the person isn't going through a rough time, which you often, I always like to cut people slack for this. But if it's truly becoming distasteful, unpleasant, they're making you feel bad about yourself, it's time to assess and say, it might be time to give this up. I can assure you of one thing. Giving up many things in your life can give you a sense of freedom. It also can give you the time to find more fulfilling projects, more fulfilling coterie of friends. And the part that I found the best, in addition to the freedom of I'm able to disconnect after having a lot of practice at giving up. I am now able to disconnect so that once I disconnect, I don't sit and linger and think about, if only it's done, it's over it. I just saw a wonderful saying by I think it's Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And I love that. So the best part of knowing that it's okay to give up is you end up feeling better about yourself because you're taking care of yourself. And this makes you feel better about yourself. Now, although I'm no expert, and far from one, and I wouldn't look at my life as being so ideal, but I have learned, and maybe some of the things I've learned might be able to help you, and that is I really have learned to assess a situation. And I have also learned to lessen my expectations, and that is truly across the board. I've lessened my expectations of what moving to a new city might be, what a new friendship might be, or even an old friendship. I've lessened my expectations when I find that this is the extent to which this person is capable. So if you lessen your expectations on people, things, projects, it's easier to give up those projects and those things and those people who no longer serve you on any level. And so I certainly am not saying throw the towel in as soon as something goes wrong. What I am saying is take a step back, really look at it as though you were looking at it from another person's point of view. Try to remove so much of your own emotion from it, and you'll make a wonderful decision. I'm going to tell you what, even if the decision isn't wonderful, I guarantee you, you will end up finding something that ends up being better. It's just always happened in my life, and I know that it will you too, because what was good yesterday is often for what we were yesterday, and this is today, and we're today, and maybe those same things just don't fulfill us in the way they could or would have when we were here. Now I want to hear from you, so please, I would love to hear your comments so that you can share with all of us what your experiences are. Maybe you're going through it now. Maybe you went through it and you found a way to be successful in giving up. I would love to hear, because we're always working on improving ourselves. And please just give us a comment in that comment box. I would love, if you haven't done so, please subscribe and hit the like button, and as well as the notification bell that will let you know the next time we come around, which is usually once a week. And most important, do share us. Share us with your friends, because everything always is better when you share it with friends. In the meantime, I wish all of you everything wonderful in your life. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to the next time. Bye now.